remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Royal Arena. We've got Kaipi versus Question Mark. Game number 2 now underway. We're into the draft, ready for our last match of the day. Kaipi playing 2 series today, two-game series. First against Friends, which of course was a great series. One apiece going to both Kaipi as well as Friends. And here in Kaipi versus Question Mark, they are up 1-0 in this 2-game series. Now looking to close out the series with a 2-0 victory, or advantage, I should say. With that, we'll jump into the game. My name is Mott, and joining me today is, of course, my good friend Mott Pax. Trent, last game was a bit of a stomp. Question mark. Oof. What happened?
just a little bit of a stomp, eh?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, just right from the get-go. I mean, that's what happens sometimes in Dota, right? We've all had those games. Your lanes don't quite work out the way you envisioned them. Maybe some matchup happens that you weren't expecting. A rotation comes in extremely early, like that Slider into the mid lane onto the Razor. He doesn't really have anyone to help him out because the Shadow Demon is busy top, and then he's an Enchantress who, you know, you can like pressure mid, but you can't really save, and she was already pressuring down bottom. She was like diving a silencer into the tower, so sacrifices back and forth on that one, and Kaipi coming out on top. The IO Tiny opener, though, I was noticing in the series earlier today, Kaipi and who's our first series?
Friends.
Level Up? Or sorry, Friends, yes, this is of course, question mark. We didn't actually have any IO picks or bans happening, which is a little bit unique, but with MDL being here now, someone who used to be a stand-in on Kaipi when they also played a ton of IO, he is like well known to be one of the best pub IOs out there.
I was actually talking about this here with Zach, excuse me, Z-Freak, about this hero, and he talked about how obviously it's always going to be strong. It's just one of those heroes that has a kit that's just always going to be a good hero.
Yeah, it's like Bat Rider.
Yeah, I mean, he plays it all the time. Obviously, it requires a little bit of coordination, but the best teams obviously all run it. I mean, there are very few really good pro teams in Dota that don't have an IO player or have the threat of that combination. It's just too strong of a combination or too strong of a hero to not have the threat of going into a draft. It's another thing that you have to look at and say, well, we have to think about banning this out because we get IO tiny and all of a sudden the game's over, or we just can't deal with it. So you have to find a way to be able to play against it, and more importantly, you have to be able to play it. I mean, there's 1 or 2 teams out there in the past that didn't have IO players, or people or there are good supports that just couldn't play IO. For example, I think PPD is one of those big players that just he doesn't really play IO, right? And
yeah, they just never picked it.
Exactly, and it just never really existed for that.
Your PPD support EG never picked IO. I think they started picking some scrims, if I recall correctly, and they just still never went with it.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
Might have been like 1 game ever.
It did work out for them, I think, if they did pick it.
Yeah.
But they're the exception to the rule. I think if you think of any other top tier team in professional Dota, an IO support player usually exists. So obviously,
very much so.
I don't need to sing the hero's praises. Been in pro Dota for goddamn like forever, so yeah. We'll get off that topic, but
it's kind of cool for being someone who you just like whip out in the opener though, because like maybe they probably would have banned Eye on the second phase. I'm gonna guess just because it is MDL. It is something that you know that if like those supports aren't being revealed yet, and you're thinking like, oh, okay, that could be pretty good here, then they might go for that. But here in like the immediate 2-3 after the Sand King opener, thinking. Other options that could have been picked in that slot, one would be considering Drow, first off, who's still left in the pool, which is pretty unique, but she'll probably slip through. The Oracle was banned out, the Mirana. Kunkka could have been the first pick, but I guess obviously they end up getting him in the 4th anyway, so it's not a big deal. But Sand King, super solid laner, very hard to find a good matchup against him once the Bat Rider's banned out. They can pretty much guarantee one of your lanes is going to go well, or they're going to have a hard time at least dealing with you. So that's already a plus for Kaipi. And Sand King actually does well against IO plus Tiny anyway, you know? Double stun, obviously, through the Burrow Strike, so that's going to help them out. And then going back for the Kunkka with the Boat, who's very good against the IO plus 1, and then the X to always control during those relocates. It's huge.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I think the Kunkka pick here is going to look real good for Kaipi. It's kind of weird. I feel like I'm looking at a circa 2013 draft from Question Mark, and then like I don't know what year this is, Kaipi draft. Maybe...
Yeah, this is really weird stuff.
I don't know what this Kaipi... It's like a newfangled draft, honestly. Sand King, Kunkka, especially in the positions that they are. Question Mark is like, yeah, we got the standard stuff. We got everything going. This is like professional Dota in a nutshell. And then Kaipi's just like, we got the new stuff. We got.
It's really, really strange to see a Bristleback without an IO.
Right.
It is definitely not something that happens, but in this situation, tiny snowballs throughout that mid game by getting that Blink Dagger, or when you have an IO, sometimes you just get drums and the move speed's enough, and you just farm heroes for the most part. You're just going around getting those kills. Bristleback, someone who can survive that initial burst damage of the Toss Avalanche combination. He has the Dazzle already to help out with the minus armor to boost up the damage he'll be putting out through his quills. And when you think about Boat plus Bristleback, he's actually going to be like totally unkillable during these fights if they have a positive weave going on him and the rum buff. And a Darkseer has constant damage coming from the Iron Shell, but they don't have enough burst to just take Bristleback down at the very start of the fight. Like, that's not going to happen.
That's very important, too, because, like you talked about, you have the tiny combination. Yes, Bristleback can probably survive that, but also you have the Grave there, too. So once that initial burst from Tiny is gone, they just don't have any burst after that. Maybe Io Spirits, maybe you get a Death Ward off, but really, once you have the Toss combination on cooldown and Bristleback's alive, whether through a Grave or through his own devices, I just don't feel like there's going to be that much damage to be able to burst through some of these heroes, especially with... And it's not... It's the Ghost Drum, like we talked about. It's the Grave. It's Bristleback's tankiness. There's a lot that Kaipi have going for them in terms of surviving a lot of these ganks.
The Witch Doctor was a very smart pickup because of that, though.
Yes.
Now they're going to have that up against Bristleback, so the Maledict's going to be extremely important this game. Really need to get that down on top of him. Not many other supports in this scenario that can both be a position 5, because that's kind of, you have to be like a 5 laner when you have the IO Tiny mid, assuming that's where we wind up with this. So Witch Doctor's a pretty smart one coming out here from Question Mark. It does mean they don't have the benefit of going like Darkseer plus a buddy. Like, he's not going to have a good friend like a Spirit Breaker or a Night Stalker or something, which, for example, like Bambo, of course, just loves being in that position where he has like 3-3 on a Darkseer or something, and they're just running at the safe lane. So, going to be a little bit tougher here for our offlaner on the side of Question Mark. And then a Morphling and Beastmaster to round out our draft here.
This is some crazy picks.
That is a mid Beastmaster. Well, it'll be played in the position 1 role by Arise.
Yeah.
That is super cool.
I like that a lot, too.
Interesting. So the attack speed bonus onto the Tiny is going to be helping him out. Good way to control and hold the Bristleback. Good slows for the Bristleback through the Boars, but they'll die pretty fast.
Do a Boots of Travel thing, too, if you want to, if you're the Tiny.
Yeah, that's a really good point, too.
It's like, whenever I think of Boots of Travel Tiny, I always think of Ben or Mourinho. He's just like the one person that I know that does that constantly. Like, I mean, he does Arcanes too a lot, but he really sings the praises of Tiny with Boots of Travel early too, but or just Boots of Travel in general, I should say. But the Morphling coming out, we've seen a lot of different builds for this particular hero. Dragonlance, obviously, for early game-oriented fights. You have the standard build with the Lincoln Sphere early on into the shotgun later down the road. We've seen Boots of Travels early for this hero so that you can split up and farm more effectively. What type of Morphling are you expecting here, Trent? Are we going to see more of a farming-oriented Morphling, or are we going to see Morphling that's involved earlier on in this game?
Always going to depend on the pace, but for the most part, it should just be this Lincoln's E-Blade. Really nice to just blow up the IO as fast as possible. That's the main goal. IO doesn't typically have any way to avoid that. You think about like how E-Blade gets nerfed and it's like way slower, and same thing with Adaptive Strike. It's nothing an IO can do. I mean, you can buy a Glimmer Cape, of course, which you probably will, so he can reduce that damage. But he doesn't, he won't have a blink or something to dodge it, so... He shall be being nuked. I'm sure that'll be the goal out of this Morphling here. Also very survivable against the relocate ganks, very slippery. So, a nice little pick here from Bone7. The scaling issues, I think, on Question Mark are perhaps a little questionable. Like, the Beastmaster works really nicely to help set up these relocate ganks, both through his Hawk and also through just, like, the roaming smoke roar. You kind of think how teams always used to use Bane or Nyx Assassin, where you're just roaming around the map and you have that nice duration stun to allow the relocate to come in. It's basically going to be the same goal here from our Beastmaster, but that just means he won't be farming the whole time, and then who is going to be farming? It'll be, like, a Darkseer, who just builds, like, aura items. So they need to snowball pretty hard from Question Mark. They need to be very consistent in terms of their ganks. Like, they can't have a lot of failed ganks, so this game just is going to snowball out of control in favor of this Morphling Bristleback.
Question Mark, realizing that there is a potential for them to enter their jungle. There were some pings and lines being drawn that said, hey, they might be here. They might be looking for kills. And they all backed up, you can see, at this point in time where their positioning is. And Kaipi have asserted themselves up on the high ground here, but there is an Observer Ward, so they're spotted. The jig is up, and they will not be able to find a kill. Not this time around. Kaipi were successful last time. They will not find a kill this time around. Instead, they will go for the bottom rune and just try to set up their lanes.
Pretty excited to see this Sing Sing Bristle mid. I mean, we haven't seen too much Iotiny mid these days, but when it was more popular, we were seeing a lot of Viper being picked up against it, and then Bristleback was really the only other hero you'd see.
Yeah, that was an RTZ classic too. I know he played it a couple of times. There were plenty of other players that played this particular hero against this matchup.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like the only time you'd see it too, right? Because it's just the rare hero that can actually survive in the mid lane, and it's extra nice being in the mid lane because you can deal with your ancient stack. So if you're Radiant, you just run up and try and get some stacks going.
Yeah.
Dire side, you might find an opportunity for it too, and then that can help you recover towards that Vanguard if you had a rough start.
That's a good point. We'll see if they decide to put some vision down for question mark on that ancient stack, so that the Bristleback can't just go and get that early whatever item, like you said, Vanguard or what have you. But we'll see how this matchup mid is going to work out, and that's going to leave what looks to be an aggressive dueling top. They want to try to shut down Bone 7 early on. We talked about Arise being in the one position. He's still in the one position. It's just in the offlane doing so with the help of Ake, who's sitting in the tree line currently. It looks like they think, oh, he's probably going to be in this solo, but they do have Pwn bottom as that Darkseer solo now as well, so they're missing out on that last support.
Yeah, maybe hoping Fluff will get a little bit too aggressive and go for a dive or something while he's harassing, and then turn it around with a boar when it spawns next.
Yeah.
That would be like the only real play that you would have here.
Yeah, Fluff is the easy kill until he gets Grave, and right now he's level 1. He's going to have level 2 soon. But we'll keep our eyes peeled up here, and they're going to go
that's
for
exactly
it.
what they're looking
that's
for.
exactly what you just talked about. The boar comes up the cast, will come through and bounce nicely to Shadow. He gets the Grave up, but he doesn't get it off in time. He gets level 2, but he doesn't get the Grave off in time, Trent. Wow.
That was a nice play. That was really cool from Ake. I like that.
It was exactly how you said it was going to happen, too. He overextends, they bring out the boar, and then they just have him come out of the woodwork. Meanwhile, toss back Sing will take a tower hit. There's the tether, but again, he has the level 1 Bristleback. He's got a salve as well. He might need some help here. They have the TP coming in from the Dazzle. They have Grave. No, it's actually Bamboo TPing in. He's going to help out if need be. The salve will come out, and Sing Sing will survive. And that's one of the easier times to kill this Bristleback with level 1 Bristleback passive. But no such luck here for Necroman.
Interesting, Bambo, he comes in and then he immediately skills up the Torrent just to hit one range creep to harass onto the Tiny. So, wow, a haste rune is super convenient.
He might be able to kill
Torrent.
MDL, actually. I think he might get this kill here.
Oh,
good body block from Pwn, but he's going to go right around him like a freaking race car. And MDL will inevitably fall as Bambo finds himself the great old S4 room. Burrow Strike, can they get Pwn as well? He's got Surge. Torrent's going to hit up. He's still pretty tanky. He's got that Scout Shield. He's going to take a lot of damage. He wants to get 3-3. He'll find it, and he might still be able to get out of this. The salve, not going to be there. Bambo will find himself the kill. It's actually going to be the Sand King that gets it with, of course, that Caustic Finale. Torrent will stop MDL, and it looks like Bambo should be able to get out of here just fine.
Man, I was just so concerned for Bambo because he took level 1 Tidebringer and then he just manages to get a haste rune, turn it into a kill, and gets himself Torrent. Like, think about if this Kunga now has to rotate around the map with just level 1 Tidebringer. Dude, that would have been pretty disastrous.
That would have been bad, but he's got 700 gold now, and he's got Torrent. He's going to have level 3 soon. Ooh, he showed you. Well, I mean, it's also like, if he didn't get a haste rune there, I mean, it's a problem, but still. Sing Sing toss back, Necroman.
Oh, is the overlay fixed?
I don't know why that's there. I'm having a rough day, man. I really am. I'm sorry, everybody.
It's no problem.
It's like all of those little things that I remember to do when I was casting consistently, just gone. Gone. I have to relearn them all over again. It's like I'm a newborn.
Just a wee babe.
Yeah. Anyway. It wasn't the worst overlay. You guys could deal with it. Not that much was missing. My sincerest apologies, though. But still, 4 minutes in, 2-2 the score. Very exciting
top
game.
lane.
Yeah, Arise should be okay. Waveform, he's still pretty tanky. He's got a 4-man shield, and they do miss the Shadow Wave. It's not going to matter. As Morphling gets the kill using the Adaptive Strike. Fluff almost dies to the tower. Sexy Bambo will take the aggro off, and they do get the kill. There's going to be the Avalanche Toss combo onto Sing Sing. Still pretty tanky. They even throw Maldic. They're body blocking the cast will come through. They have to put so much effort into getting this kill, and MDL almost goes down. The Toss will finally stifle him and block him from getting this kill on MDL, but that was a lot of work.
That's Maledict in action right there, though.
Thank God.
That was 250 damage, coming up from your Witch Doctor, so helping to secure that one. Not the easiest kill to snag up.
No, definitely not. But they do find the kill, and that is one thing that they have going is that mid lane. They do have the advantage there. They've lost a couple of heroes elsewhere due to Bambo, as well as in that top lane. But still, The question mark does have the IO and Tiny combination. Speaking of the IO, he is level 3, so it's going to be a while before we do see the level 6 and the relocates. Necroman's 5. He's got Shreds. He's going to be an Avalanche. Toss. That's a range creep. That's unfortunate. Let's see if he
okay?
Help out. Where do you go from here? I feel like you talked about with the IO and Tiny, you definitely need to get to 6, obviously, on the IO, but again, it feels like these are the only people that, or at least the Tiny is the only one that really utilizes the farm across the map. The Beastmaster, what does he inevitably build, is my question on this Beastmaster. I guess the Necro Book was the most common thing. It probably will be the
yeah,
case
I think
again.
still Necro's fine. I don't think he needs to go like Blink first or anything like that, just because the relocate should be enough with Hawk Vision that they can like set up that way using the IO instead. And then with all the auras and everything that'll be coming out from the Darkseer, it's gonna be a pretty cool game. Torrents might be enough here to save. Bambo, very well played there.
And they're actually encroaching on these 2 heroes. They do have the IO coming in. It's going to be a 3 vs 3 fight. Rise is going to work on Bone 7. Shadow Wave not going to be enough to heal him up. He has to waveform out. Can't really fight that with the amount of HP that he currently has. Fluff walks through and just gets blown away by a bunch of creeps and some right clicks. The Axes will actually secure the kill for a Rise. Pretty nice play, although Fluff may be walking the wrong direction.
And that appears to be, yeah.
I mean, at this point in time, it's pretty close, actually. You have farm going pretty consistently both ways. The Sand King's getting a lot of farm bottom, so is the Darkseer. You have Bone 7 getting a lot of farm top, but so is the Beastmaster. I mean, it's very even. It's 4-3 at this point in time. Necroman is actually getting chased down. Sing is probably going to get this kill. Yep.
I think he knew he was dead, and he threw a toss just for a Lasset right there.
Alright, I need to get some CS.
I
need my gold.
Speaking of needing things, are you in need of a Dark Artistry set for Invoker mod?
Am I? Who's asking?
I don't know. Well, if you are, there's currently a giveaway happening from the Royal Arena Instagram.
Wow. Make sure you guys check that out.
But I will definitely link in the chat for you.
I was gonna say
it's that dope one with all the spells that fly out and everything changes colors. It goes all purple, kind of like question mark, you know, double purple hero.
That sounds amazing.
You guys can play like the pros, much like Game League, but with your with your Dark Artistry set. How did I do? That was pretty good.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, that was all right.
Stuff.
Really got it at the end
impressed.
there, I think.
Yeah, definitely check out the Twitch chat because we will be throwing that Instagram link in there, guys. And it's always good to get yourself a nice little giveaway. Get something extra for yourself. So definitely check that out. 3-3 and Fluff, they're setting up on the high ground. Little do they know there's nobody here. They do have a dire observer ward in the vicinity, but Necroman right now is just farming the jungle, trying to get some extra experience and gold for himself. So we've kind of devolved into this sort of farming type of game at this point in time. There's a couple of kills happening across the map, but nothing too serious. Almost level 4 for the IO. That experience is kind of low. He needs to get to that level 6 pretty quickly. 1,200 gold for the Beastmaster. He's going to start his Necro Book pretty soon. A lot of movement, though, coming out as Kaipi are going to try to engage top. Okay, there's going to be the war. They'll try to turn onto Bambo here, but I don't know about this fight coming up for question mark. They're going to have a lot of heroes here in the next couple of moments, and here they come. Vacuum wall on the ground, burrow strike onto a couple of heroes. TP out from Bambo, he will make it away. On the other side, Sing Sing is going to work onto MDL. He'll get the kill with the Quill Sprays. And now Arise is left on his own with a burrow strike, providing 3-3 a double kill, and Kaipi turn it around. A very excellent fight, losing nobody. Until Necroman comes up and finds Sing Sing a bristleback. Necroman seemingly coming out of nowhere and picking off that bristleback at the end of the engagement.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
That we basically are just sitting with like the this big rotation from Pwn. He's sitting on top of the net worth chart. Last game on that Nyx Assassin, he was never able to really get anything done. He kind of had to like do these vendetta plays that never really materialized. So the game just, you didn't really feel that impact from him. So I think right now with this mechanism, he's just hoping that he's going to be able to make that impact be felt this time. Try and get some of that earlier pressure down on these towers. Try and slow down Bone 7 on this Morphling. But for now, he is still the leader on the Dire side. It ain't looking like that Spectre game in Game 1 in our first series where he was having a real rough time last inning. But this guy, even if he gets off to a bad start, he tends to find that good farm during the mid-game. So already with a decent start, I'm feeling pretty good for him. Sing Sing as well, just sitting on some decent gold too.
They can still shut him down now that they have Roar, they have Iron Chill up as well, and they have ways to deal with this Morphling. It's going to be tough, but they have ways. And Necroman's starting to get involved too. Avalanche not going to connect into Bambo. Toss will go They do have the X marks. The Torrent's going to come out as well. The Grave
this
gets
is
off in
4
time.
heroes.
Nice job by Fluff to get that. And MTL should fall to Bone 7. But no, the cast comes out and Bone 7 can't chase further. And Bambo was looking to go with an X marks or a Torrent. Couldn't quite find it. Nice little play.
Looks like Necroman just TP's home, eh? All out of stuns.
Yeah, he's like, I'm done here. I have no way of killing people. Fluff did a nice job with that Grave. By the way, talking about Pwn on that Dark Seer, I agree with you. I think he's going to have a bigger impact in this game because I just feel like he synergizes better with his heroes than he did in the last game. Not to say Nix Assassin didn't synergize well with those heroes, but just with the
if we see like a vacuum avalanche or something.
Yeah, exactly.
It's going to be pretty disgusting.
Even just the Iron Shell on some of these heroes like Beastmaster and Tiny to me is good enough to be able to provide them some extra damage in these fights. But we'll wait and see how Necroman and Pwn can combine up to find some kills. I mean, right now, it's kind of crazy.
The Necrobook's going to be huge.
Yes, that's
Rise. Like that mana burn on Bone 7 is just obviously mega value. It's just like your Medusas, your Storm Spirits. So you get the extra value in terms of their overall survivability whenever you burn their mana. So Morphling not going to have the funnest time. It's getting, it's within reach here for our Beastmaster. Just the recipe to go here. He's got 2 parts.
He's got Roar. There are some heroes in this top lane. Whether or not they want to actually do something remains to be seen. There is an Observer Ward, however, close to the entrance lane, so they're going to have to smoke if they want to get this kill. But it's only MDL and Ake. I don't really think they can get it between the 3 of them. And Pwn is split pushing bottom, though. It looks like he is about to push this into deny range. Meanwhile, the smoke comes in 3-3 will spot Necroman. This is a huge kill if they can get it. They're wrapping around, pincering between 2 sides right now. Ghost Ship is going to go with the Torrent. Epicenter, they're throwing everything. Can they get this kill? Sing Sing's even coming in, and they will find it. It requires 2 ultimates and some extra damage from Sing, but here comes the rotations to try to get something out of this. The war will go. Sing is going to be a tough target. They're looking to turn this. They've dropped the wall on the ground. Sing, Bro Strike is up now. They're looking for Pwn. He's going to pop the neck. There's the vacuum back in. The Torrent comes through. They get the Grave off, though. Sing should be okay for the time being. Bambo chasing after MDL on the other side. 3-3 might be the martyr here. Caustic Valley doing some nice damage, but that should be the end of it. Though Bambo might get chased down. If they have any way of catching him, it looks like he might just TP. The Torrent will come first. He'll go for the TP. They should know that he's there, but he's not going to be able to get caught in time. But they didn't have any real way of stopping it with the vacuum being on cooldown.
Everything thrown out, and we lose our Sand King. That's in the end of it. Top lane as well. Just a little bit of Bone 7 Necroman. Some tosses were thrown out, some damage back and forth, but no big deal. And again, though, like, Pwn is just sounding extremely rich here.
Yeah,
and you think this Bristleback with like a hood and whatever, he's going to be tanking hard to deal with, but soon you're going to be getting the same kind of benefits heading out to the entire side of question mark here. So that mid-game snowball is starting to look good for them. Maybe concerned about Necroman's farm overall, though. Is he still just sitting on treads? His Ogre Club? I assume this will be like an Echo Saber first kind of a build, which works when you have an IO, I suppose. It's a little bit better than drums these days.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. There's some question about Echo Saber. Well, obviously, is it really going to be that good on Tiny? But really,
it means you have a lot of faith in your IO because you're not going for that blink first. So Echo Saber, obviously, it like massively increases your big burst nuke damage as you get the second attack off at the same time, and well, it ends up being 3 attacks basically. Because if you like blink toss, you get 2 attacks off throughout the full duration. But if you have the Echo Saber, it's going to be 3, and if they're a slow hero that doesn't have a blink or something, that means you get a 4th one in 2. So if you think about how much damage Tiny's right clicks do, a pretty ridiculous amount of damage.
154 base damage, no bonus damage currently. They are going to go for a relocate down bottom, however, and it looks like Fluff might be the target. Can he get the Grave off inside? Absolutely. They already did take down Bambo. He's going to try to go for the TP. But Cask is there, or not. I thought Ake had it up, but it's actually not there, and so the TP is going to be successful. And they'll bring him back mid, and so Necroman can continue to CS.
Yeah, I think he threw the Cask on the Kunkka post-roar, so nothing going there.
That's okay. They still get the kill onto the Kunkka. It's a nice pickup. Bone 7 down bottom. This is the
give him that mana burn.
Yeah, I mean, they give him the mana burn, but they can't really kill this guy. He's just farming like crazy. Like, they haven't really stopped him from doing so. That's the one issue I have with it, but what are you going to do? Oh, go ship top. Pwn. Take
some Parat. Look how tanky he is.
Yeah.
That hood.
Pwn's just like I'm not taking any damage.
Yeah, I do not. Oh, now the Surging Necroman. They want to go for this.
Bambo's avalanche, toss, combination, there. I don't think the combo quite hit, but they still killed him nonetheless. Yeah, they'll take the tower for a victory lap.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Damn. Bone 7 is still just sitting down here. Like, no fear. Roar still 6 seconds away though, so they can't really do anything.
He doesn't have replicate. He might have stayed too long. But
He definitely did.
He's got plenty of strength, and he's going to run out of mana here momentarily. And it doesn't even matter. They can just shoot through all of that damage with the Iron Shell, with the Roar of the Axes. That was a little too much time. Meanwhile, Necroman gets an Avalanche out of 2. He gets a toss out of 2. Fluff has to heal both of them up. They have the Blink Dagger on to Sandkick if they want to turn this and try to go back again. But all 5 heroes are here for question mark. Meanwhile, Kaipi are missing out, obviously, on their Morphling. And so all of a sudden, with that kill onto the Morphling, you can see question mark are getting more and more aggressive here, and they want to start pushing into this tier 2 tower bottom, Trent.
Yeah, and Necroman went back. He got the Blink Dagger because he got a couple kills off.
Oh, nice. The Avalanche on it too. Into the vacuum wall. This is what you talked about earlier. Epicenter getting channeled ever. But there's the Mech. They're still so tanky. The Death Ward coming through onto 3-3. The toss up. Necroman's low. Not dead yet. They're trying to keep him alive. The relocate out is there. And Sing Sing now looking to do it pretty much on his own. He's getting lower and lower in HP. You can see the damage he's taking right now. The illusion's hitting him. The cask is there. Is it enough? The grave gets off in time. It's not going to be enough to bring him down. There's going to be the Blink in, and he's got the Blink Dagger ready to go. Get the Avalanche Toss combination off onto that poor Dazzle. Too squishy. And that's it. What a fight.
Yeah, really nicely played there. That Death Ward, just like full duration from Ake.
Yeah.
Just zone them all away, keep everyone up and going. And, you know, Voodoo Restoration, not too bad of a skill itself as well. Man, despite not even being there for like half that fight, like Tiny just ends up leaving for like 10 seconds before coming back, and he still did the most damage by quite a fair margin. And they're just so tanky, like Mechanism and Pipe already up at this point in the game. It's not something you see too often. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, the opponent is having an amazing game right now. He's level 12 too, so that, again, the important marker from 11 to 12, that experience gap, so that you can get to the level 2 Wall of Replica, assuming he went 2 points in Surge, which he did. It's very important. So nice stuff.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. The value, one of those kind of funnier heroes in terms of your overall skill builds, but
it's
like goes down. Necroman's sitting mid with a DD.
Yeah, Sing Sing, or I think it was Bone 7 actually saw him. The Avalanche is going to miss. Toss will hit, but Sing Sing's like, I'm pretty tanky. I don't know if you really want to do this. They're going to surge out, back in. Necroman's deciding whether or not he really wants to go for this kill. A lot of heroes in the vicinity. You can see the smoke is up for a Rise and Ake as well. And where they want to hit, I don't know. Looks like
right under a ward too, so they probably feel safe on the Dire.
Meanwhile, bottom lane Ghost Ship's going to come through, hits MDLs, they relocate.
Rest in peace, Fluff.
Avalanche hits onto one, but not both. Sandstorm comes through, there's the X marks. Meanwhile, Rise does get that kill onto Dazzle in the mid lane. I was too busy watching this chase happening.
Yeah, looks like Bambo will end up getting out here.
This is some clowny juice.
Bottom tower is under attack.
While that's all happening, that's drawing their attention for Kaipi. They're getting their tier 1 tower taken here. And finally, some of the objectives are starting. Meanwhile, Necroman did find Bambo, and Necroman gets the kill. I thought Bambo was going to live. Nope. No.
Guess he got a little greedy there. He's trying to build up to that armlet, more than likely, judging by his build, so got some work to do.
He's got some time. By the way, Aghanim Scepter is going to be next for the Tiny. I feel like this is interesting.
I think what happened was he was going to go... I mean, it's still kind of weird to go Echo Saber first. It's not the most common thing. We've seen some people do it lately. I think Arteezy was streaming it yesterday too when he was playing it, but it's kind of an awkward item. Like, yeah, you get the second right click, but you're missing out on a lot of other stuff like move speed and whatnot through like drums that you usually used to get, but he was like almost into the Oblivion staff, and he just got such a large chunk of money that he was able to just go straight into the Blink Dagger. And then once you have the Blink Dagger and you know, they just knock down some towers, they got more gold. It's like, oh, well, I have an IO. I should just go for my Aghanims. And this puts you more into like that hard carry role rather than that just like nuking, blinking, blow you up in one shot kind of a role. Like, it's much more sustained damage during a fight.
I mean, it's going to help their push 2 later on down the road, especially. And being able to take down these towers. And again, we've talked about it so many different times. And Io and Tiny, they always have an ability to take down buildings, Raxes, what have you, just based off of their heroes alone. And not only that, they have the Necro 3 to help out as well. So all of a sudden, you have so much more pushing potential. And not only that, but teamfight potential too. We'll see if they decide to take that teamfight potential down to this bottom lane. The tier 1 tower is already dead, essentially. It's just going to be... It was not going to be denied. Bones was looking to try to get some heroes here in the meantime.
has fallen.
Here we go, though. Ake smoked up. The roar will come out. Fluff is going to get caught, but the Burrow strike immediately to stop this combo from happening. Here comes the Ghost Ship to fly through as well. Bone 7 looking for Ake. The Death Ward, a Adaptive Strike to stop it. They'll at least take one down, and that's the support. But here comes Necroman. They've relocated in, I believe, and now they're looking for more. Epicenter getting channeled in the tree line, but it's only going to hit on Arise, and they've already lost 2 on the Kaipi. Meanwhile, Arise getting low. Not dead just yet. The mech keeping him alive, but he will fall. Sing stacking up the Warpath as well as those Quill Sprays. It's a 3-for-2 exchange. Still coming is going to be MDL, who has to walk after the relocate is done. Bone 7, pretty squishy still. Necroman, he's got his combo back up at 6. He has Toss now, but no Avalanche. You can see the Darkseer's kind of been left behind, seemingly out of mana, but here comes the Toss, the Avalanche combo, and he does replicate out in time. Bone 7 will make it away. But when it's all said and done, it is a 3-for-2 exchange, so question marks still come out ahead, and Necroman involved in a lot of those kills, Trent.
Yeah, fight gets a little bit tougher once the Beastmaster goes down because he loses that attack speed. You can see it right there. Having a little bit faster on that last right click certainly would have got the Morphling. His Aghanim Scepter now finished, though, so that'll be flown out from that Courier. So now you'll start to see the real damage come out from Necroman. His last big jump will just be once he hits level 16 and gets the 3rd point to grow, but already now, like, the Toss is doing more damage. And, of course, with the Cleave. It just looks so dumb when you have a Tiny with an IO on top of him and the Inner Beast Aura.
Yeah, it's a bit silly.
Like, if they lose one fight, it's just, you can easily lose racks.
Oh, absolutely. This is without Assault Cuirass. This is without any other damaging items for Necroman. There is still one good thing, and that's Bone 7 is still farming somewhat well. He has the Lincoln Sphere, nothing else currently, nothing on the Courier. They're going to get a pipe for Sing Sing, which is not surprising. He already has the Crimson Guard. So.
Yeah, need the save up against the Tiny's first nuke. Only thing is, it's a little bit late. Like, he's still very farmed for a Bristleback. It's pretty, especially because he wasn't really abusing Ancients at all. His mid lane.
He has walked up too far. Epicenter is getting channeled, and he's going to go for it. He might get MDL out of this, maybe Ake as well, but I don't know if he's going to get much more. Yeah, the mech comes out, and that's going to be enough to save him more. They just staked up. I don't even know if they mech there. Meanwhile, Waveform will go through. They will get Ake, and Bone 7 is trying to finish off Rise. They're not able to do so. Meanwhile, they do get another kill onto 3-3. Bone chasing after Bone 7 now. Tiny is still nearby, but not going in for that blink. They decided to just get those 2 kills, lose Ake, and again, it's another successful fight for question mark as they continue to try to build up an advantage here.
Power of Io Tiny. Like, Io by itself, obviously not the most powerful hero, and there's a reason why Tiny's usually the first hero people ban out, just because you can relocate him in the middle of the fight, and that's like where he wants to be, and that's like totally fine. Whereas some of those Io partners, maybe that's, you know, you just get stunned once and you die or something like that, but the big AoE of Avalanche just gives you so much to play around with as you come to the engagement. He just starts dumpstering people, man. What a hero. I mean, that was a Bristleback. That guy's supposed to be tanky.
I'm a big fan of Tiny, honestly, man. That's
now the Echo Saber's going to be done here soon.
Yeah, he's got everything going for him right now. I mean, he consistently, like we talked about how he was stifled early on in the game, but these kills that he's finding, not only the kills, but just good farm too. And again, with that IO, it allows you to farm across the map and be pretty much at 2 places at once. So Necroman is all cylinders. He's firing all cylinders right now.
That was close. Bone 7 just relocated mid, or rather was mid, but he replicated out in time. And, I mean, his farm is impressive too, like on Necroman, but the Darkseer, he's still number 1. That is impressive. I mean, that's going to change soon, I'm sure, now the Aghanims is out and the Echo Saber's coming, and the farm game's going to be even more in his side.
Poe's not going to lose to the Tiny. He's going to try his damnedest to get farm. I don't know.
I would be very impressed if he ends this game. Actually, if he ends this game on top of Tiny, they probably lost. Yeah, I would imagine.
There's a good chance that's the case. He's about to become passed up here by Necroman anyways. As you talked about, the Echo Saber, I believe, is flying out on the Courier right now. Yep, full
yeah, it must be. It was, like, finished. Yeah. So, when the draft ended, we talked about how Kaipi, it seemed to have, like, the safer thing, just because the way the cores are structured on question mark, where it's this position 1 Beastmaster who... I mean, Admiral Bulldog has shown how this guy can scale very well, whereas Loda tends to play those guys that, like, fall off or something, but... Darkseer isn't like Slardar or something, you know. He builds all these aura items, and he gives you a lot of strength in this mid game. But if you don't have a team that's ready to capitalize on that, then it goes pretty disastrously. However, they got a lot of nice early kills. The first couple relocates were really successful coming out from MDL and Necroman. That meant they're in a place to help out with this Darkseer and the Beastmaster as well. Like, he hasn't been farming that much. Like, there's a lot of times where Arise is just like sitting in trees waiting for heroes to come. So
yeah.
Overall, they've hit their timing. It's all working out for question mark. It's the harder to execute lineup, I would say, and very impressed so far, especially considering last game where they had a really hard time executing what I would consider to be a more difficult lineup.
I do like the back call from question mark there. I think they could have gone for that tier 3 tower, and they could have forced something, and if they had won a fight there, the game's probably over, but they decided to back up and play it safer for Necroman. I don't know if they really should sit back too much longer, though. I don't really think you want Morphling to become a big deal, and right now he's not. He's only got a Lincoln Sphere.
Yeah, if he gets the E-Blade in time, I mean, the Glimmer, I'm sure, is probably the next item on MDL. It just seems like it would make a lot of sense in a game like this. Unless he wants to go, like, Vlad's or something weird, just to give more armor to the team, because it's a lot of physical, and the minus armor from the Dazzle and whatnot is understandable. And he'll have to rely on, like, the pipe and whatnot from the Darkseid to keep him alive. But if the IO just goes down at the start of the fight, that's where stuff gets rough, right? No relocate save. We haven't really seen a full 5-on-5 engagement, because almost every time it's them coming in. It's like a 3v5 to start in favor of Kaipi, but then the relocate comes in, and IO's, like, already done his part at that point.
I mean, it's tough for Kaipi to fight around that, too. There's so much you have to think about for Kaipi in these team fights as well. Avoiding the vacuum wall, avoiding the roar, trying to stop the mech from happening.
And we also haven't seen a big boat in a fight, really. There was like 2, maybe.
They don't have that combination ability, really. He just kind of has to hit one. I mean, they have the Burrow Strike into a boat, I guess. But there's no vacuum to help them out with it. But they're like, if they can fight around Roshan, it might be their best opportunity. I think if they can try to contest Roche, that might be their best chance at a team fight, as a small space.
Yeah, even if they do it, I mean, I would say like decently fast now. There's like obviously Echo Saber, Aghanims, Beastmaster, so the vision and whatnot from question mark is going to make it hard for Kaipi to contest there. But I do think that would be a pretty good spot, right? Because that's your boat setup right there.
Yeah,
just the natural landscape. So if they can do that, if that run buff gets on top of Sing Sing and he's just able to be a total nuisance in the middle of the engagement, that might be enough for them to do it with like Bone 7 and 3-3 weaving in and out of the fights. Pretty much the dream scenario for them, and it all, again, comes back to blowing up this IO, too.
This is going to be interesting. IO and Tiny obviously sitting together down bottom, and so if a fight breaks out, they have that relocate potential. They clearly want to go on somebody here, but Arise is sitting back. They're going to sit together as a squad. I think they don't actually have a smoke themselves, it looks like, for question mark. They'll move together. They have a Shiva's Guard, however, in the Darkseer now, so that's a new item. We're going to see 2 teams clash. Bambo's going to find an X-Mark's Glimmer Cape, but they get the war off. They have the Gem of True Sight, mind you, and they blow up Bambo. They're looking for Fluff next, and the Borslow is up. He's going to try to go for the TP. I don't think he's going to make it out. Vacuum there in time, tosses up, and we'll see you later. So they kick off both supports, and the smoke is not successful for Kaipi in the slightest. In fact, that might actually give Roche over to question mark.
Is under attack.
Yes, the window is beginning to close now. Level 3 Necros, and that gem you just pointed out there means the vision game from Kaipi. It's already hard against a Beastmaster, but now it just feels impossible.
And they're going to have a BKB for this Tiny, and there's no way they can really kill a Tiny when he has that BKB on.
Yeah, this is the time to go high ground, boys item.
Yes.
Like, what are you going to do when this guy just uses his 10-second BKB to hit Melee Rex? Like, if he chooses to, you can't
the Melee Rex
physically
is
stop
dead,
him.
man. Yeah, at that point.
it will be gone.
Again, it's getting worse and worse for Kaipi this second game in this series. Really good performance from Necroman. Just a really good, solid performance from question mark overall in comparison to their first game. Torrent, Bambo playing a little cheekily. Gonna throw out the X-Marks and then head back to the base. Well, here we go. Base is pretty much gone. I don't really even think he needs to wait for his BK because he has the Aegis right now, and I think if he really wants to, he can push high ground without any issues. We'll see if they decide to back up and try to push for a pick, or if they really are going to go for this tier 3 tower right now. Looks like it's the latter. Oh, that's the X-Mark's Burrow Strike. They found Sing Sing. He's going to get tossed back. They replicate the Tiny, by the way.
The Shiva's Guard is so good in this situation, though. Like, if they just want to back out right now, it's so difficult for them to chase with the heroes they have. Unless there's an X already placed by Bambo, they'll just be, like, running into Shiva's Guard with Bristle. Oh, that's a little deep, though.
Yeah, he does go a little too far, but, I mean, he's not taking damage. This is before his BKB is even getting here. It's about to fly out now. Necroman is still fine at this point. They're going to X-Mark, so he'll just stay in place, whack Sing Sing a couple of times, say, hey,
how do you
fine.
kill this man twice?
You can't. I don't think you can, especially when he's a BKB. He dropped his wand, I believe, and here comes
the double heal with the IO and the Witch Doctor. Then there's
that's
just the auras from the
when he's
mechanism.
BKB, you can't tether him unless you've already tethered him. So
that is true.
You got to be careful. I mean, I think he's still probably fine.
Something tells me.
Well, here comes the slow siege. I don't know how slow it's actually going to be considering how hard Necroman hits. 300 some odd damage right now for the Tiny. And with overcharge
Just waiting for the Hawk.
And looking for vision momentarily. They know that it's there, or at least they're picking it out.
What can he even do, though?
Nothing really. There's going to be another toss avalanche combo into Sing Sing, which actually does a fair bit of damage. He's going to walk up, pop the Crimson Guard. They'll maybe have to wait for that to go down, but he actually just hits both 7. Necroman is just turning to whoever and hitting him. Meanwhile, the Roar, they found out at least the Sand King, and he gets blown away. No buyback. Sing Sing might be next. Back wall combo. The Ghost Ship is up. They have got the run going, but the Death Ward Sing Sing is very tanky. They want to get this Rax. The Glyph is now up, but they push everyone from Kaipi back. Sing Sing below half health, so he's going to probably have to regen. You can see he's probably already back to the base at this point. He's in the well. Ethereal Blade comes up, but it might be too little too late at this point as Bambo's going to fall next. And that might be it. The full set of Racks gone down bottom. We'll see if they can get this Rax mid with no Glyph up and available. Bone 7's going to go and look for that combination. He'll find MTL, but he's got the raindrops and now Sing as well as Bone 7. Bone 7 replicates towards the mid lane. That's how much trouble he was in. Sing Sing inevitably gets dropped. He's down for 55, and there it is. GG is called. Well played from question mark there, Trent.
It really was. Beastmaster, Darkseer on the same team. Not something we've seen since like Empire was one squad who were drafting like 3 offlaners every game. It looked like they were. I believe it was Afterlife, wasn't it? Back on his other team, he was running, who we had earlier on Friends, where they were just drafting all this like position 1 Beastmaster, and sometimes you can just find these perfect lanes for it to work. So, very impressed from question mark. I would definitely call it an unorthodox strategy. The Kaipi tried to kind of counter what they had. They went for this Bristleback to be a survivable mid so he doesn't get totally dominated, and it did work. Like, he didn't get crushed in the mid lane, and it staved off that Tiny IO a little bit, but they executed the relocates, and if a team's going to do that with Tiny IO, that's really all you need to win. Bambo couldn't quite find those big moments with the boat or anything like that to turn the big fights, get the rum on the Bristleback, and you never saw that, like, rampage Sing Sing where you're just slowly, one after another, running heroes down because you're unkillable. And if Bristleback doesn't get that in a game, it's pretty difficult to take the win.
I agree with you. That team fight really never clicked for Kaipi. Even the Burrow Strikes and the Epicenters felt kind of minimal after a period of time. I mean, he had some good ones, but it just wasn't enough. And a lot of that was due to Pwn having that early mech, having that early pipe. His utility was outstanding, and he had a very big impact in this game. So I think Pwn was probably one of my MVPs for that game, for sure. But, well, that's it, Trent. Any closing thoughts before we head out today?
Check out the giveaway on that Instagram again.
Yeah, make sure you guys check out the Royal Arena Instagram. It'll be posted in Twitch chat, more than likely by Trent. Also, before we head out of here, make sure you guys check out GameLeap.com. Now, this is a site, if you don't have a lot of time to look through replays, if you are interested in what some of the top players are looking at, some of the top 1% in terms of their guides, there are some of them out there. Brax, 8,100 MMR. This guy obviously knows his Dota. You'd like to learn from him, see some guides from those players, including BSJ as well. Make sure you guys check out GameLeap.com. Again, definitely a site you want to look into. So, with that said, we will be done for the evening. It's been an absolute pleasure casting for you guys today. I do apologize for all of the issues that were had earlier. It is my first day back, but had some good games and really enjoyed being back here casting for you guys. So Royal Arena, we'll chug along and we'll keep you guys updated as to our next matches. But for now, we'll be done and we'll see you guys next time. Bye, everybody.